piano recital. And what he has to do for his recitals is get 10 songs, and he has to play them, at least 7 of them in a row, perfect at his lesson to get to do his recital. So he's been working really hard, and he's excited to do his performance. And I wrote a little story to go along with the song names, so you can listen to the story while he plays. And we just want to especially thank his teacher, Jessica Draper. She's done a really good job with him. Okay, so, and do we clap in between? No, just clap at the end. Okay, so we can clap at the beginning and at the very end. And try to be quiet, and if there's little kids that get noisy, you can run out with them. But he has to practice being distracted anyway, so. Okay, so come on, Mikey. Hey,
can I explain why I'm playing?
Oh, sure. Well,
so Mikey's first piece is a concerto, which means it's a piece written for piano to be played with an orchestra. Do you guys know what an orchestra is?
Yeah.
So right now we obviously don't have an orchestra here with us, do we? So instead of an orchestra playing, I will play on this piano what the orchestra would normally have been playing.
Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Mike who lived in a cute little town called Pokemon Land with all his friends, the Pokemons. One day, he was sitting in his room sorting some Pokemon cards when he heard a huge crash coming from outside. He ran to the window and peeked out and saw something horrible. A giant monster was stomping through the streets and crushing everything in its way. He couldn't believe his eyes. It was the terrible Concerto monster.
Oh my God.
that trouble was in their town. The Pokemons were in an uproar trying to figure out what to do. They were all shouting and screaming, and all of a sudden one of the Pokemons yelled, "Silence!" It was the wise old Pokemon named Minuet. Minuet told all of the Pokemons that he had a dream about this very event happening, and the only way they'd be able to conquer the Concerto monster was to discover a magical song that would tame him. He told them that 2 of them would need to go on an adventure to try to find the magic song. Mike was selected for the journey along with a very fun and energetic Pokemon named Bore. Mike and Bore started off on their journey right away. First, they ventured all the way down to Antarctica. They searched and searched for a magical song, and they finally found a cave that looked promising, but when they entered, they were attacked by some evil penguins. Used a sneaky sidewinder attack on the penguins and was able to defeat them. In the cave, they found a little song and brought it back to Pokemon Land to try it against the Concerto monster. Song had no effect on the Concerto monster, so Mike and Bore ran away as fast as they could to try to find a different song to use. This time they went over to Africa to search the desert. They finally found a camel who was helping them locate the next magic song to try. When all of a sudden the camel ran away because it heard the march of the goblins coming towards them. Attack on the goblins. He lost a few life points, but Mike was able to use some of his energy to revive them. The goblins ran off and left behind the next magic song. Mike and Bore rushed back to Pokemon Land and played a chant to try to tame the evil monster. center of the village. Mike and Beret knew they didn't have much time left to defeat Concerto. They decided to try one more place to look for the magic song that could tame him. They headed to the Caribbean. They were searching in the Caribbean Sea because they thought the song might be underwater, when all of a sudden they heard the sound, the horrible sound of crocodile teeth chattering at them. Well, as luck would have it, these were friendly crocodiles. The crocodiles invited Mike and Beret over for a little snack and said they would give them one last magical song that they could try. They were pretty starving, so they went over and ate some delicious Chiquita bananas before heading on their way back home. This one's a duet. And one more song to try, Beret and Mike headed back to Pokemon Land. They played the last song with all their might. It was a beautiful prelude that put the Concerto monster right to sleep and saved Pokemon Land.